Hi, everybody. Welcome to Look Around Florida. Apparently, there was some mix up. Maybe I screwed something up. Huh. Let me double check. Oh, I did fuck up. Sorry. Sorry, ladies. I just got a message and I did realize it says 8 a.m. That's my fault. Wow. I can't believe I screwed that up. Thanks, Linda. Thank you for messaging me, and I do apologize to all of our chat heads that I screwed up. Apparently, I thought I set it for 8 p.m. and somehow it says 8 a.m. I don't know, but hey, you're here. Hey, Victor. Hey, Linda. We got Jerry Peacock. He's in timeout right now. No, he wasn't a bad boy. He'll be coming up here shortly as soon as we get more people in the chat. So a lot of cool things. Want to say happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I know a lot of people are spending time today with their loved ones. Hopefully, they hopefully they spend their time here with some fine gentlemen and ladies. So do want to get this out of the way. This way it keeps me out of trouble. Me not getting phone calls from our division commander, our army commander, or our national commander, our commander in chief, which hasn't happened yet, but our division commander, Calvin Hart, does call me from time to time to ideas and projects that he's working on. Not tonight, Victor. Deal with quite a bit of stuff, as you guys know. My father passed away a couple weeks ago. I just got with my pastor today. We ironed out the details. If you want to come to the service, is it's going to be March 2nd at noon at Golden Gate Assembly of God. I know I got a lot of supporters and friends that watch this chat. So if you want to come down and show your support for me, you're invited. Just keep in mind this is a funeral, not a shindig or party or anything like that. We're celebrating my dad's life. So with that being said, we got a couple reenactments coming up. I believe Alesti's this weekend. I know Camp 1209 is there getting set up and everything. Uh, they brought some of their stuff, their hot air balloon, their tables, and all that. Getting set up for this weekend at Alesti. Keep in mind, we got a cool event coming up. That I just got this information last night as I went and visited the Arcadia camp. They got they're going to have their recruitment booth. The OCR is going to be there selling stuff, fundraising, and all that. We'll be at the Arcadia. American Legion is sponsoring the Antique Tractor Hit and Miss engine and car show. Plus, the DeSoto County Historical Society sponsoring Pioneer Days, Saturday, March the 23rd, 2024, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at DeSoto County Turner Ag Civic Center in Arcadia, Florida. Hey, Jeffro, good to see you, buddy. So that's their event coming up. I know we have another reenactment coming up that same weekend. Uh, Hopefully we can get Al Massey or that camp commander on to talk about the final year of the Battle of Narcoossee Mills. I hate to say that, but it is what it is, so to speak. Al Mass is usually pretty good on letting me know him or his lovely wife Sandy to bring them on the show to talk about the Battle of Narcoossee Mills. So, guys, get your people out there. Poke your camp commanders. Get them in the chat. We will be bringing up Jerry Peacock very soon. We need all camp commanders and lieutenant commanders on. This way you can bring this information to your camps. Uh, so with where yeah, this is way Jerry can get the information out to the camp lieutenant commanders on what's coming up. Jerry, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Sean. It's a pleasure to be here. I hope we can go over a few ideas and share some ideas that will help our members and at least make them familiar with what we're doing and what's going on and how we do it.
Cool. So, Jerry, how long have you been in the SCV?
Sean, I joined in North Carolina. That's where I'm from originally. It's where I was born and raised. And about 1994, I actually went into the SCV. Prior to that, I was one of the charter members with the Jeb Stuart camp in Ararat, Virginia. Now, our camp at that time met in Mount Airy, which was right there beside, adjacent to Ararat, where Jeb Stuart's home place is. So anyway, I've been in Florida here, retired for, I can't believe it, more than 18 years.
Cool.
So.
And you live in one of the famous places, don't you?
Well, I don't know about famous, but it's really probably a neat place to live, and it's a lot of things to do, Sean, but there are a lot of Yankees here. So anybody that comes down my block, they see our flag right out the back patio,
right
on the main drag, so everybody gets to see it. And we've been welcomed pretty hardly here. I'm really glad. It's a beautiful thing. They're learning about history. Matter of fact, when somebody comes to see or ask for my name, Peacock, they say, well, oh, he's the rebel up on the other end of the street. So that gets attention.
Already. I know recently Calvin asked you to help him out with something.
Yes, I got a surprise call from our state commander, which I was glad to get. And we talked for quite a while, and he asked me would I have the time or even energy to go ahead and for our up and coming state SCV meeting in Trenton in June, he asked me would I chair what we have in place as the nominations election committee. It sounds like a big name, but it's kind of self-identifiable. It's simple. There's not a lot of hectic ideas going on because the way it's been handled over the years, previous people, Mike Herring is one that comes to mind that has handled the nominations election committee. So we've gotten a lot of ideas and we've built on their platform. Feel free to ask me any questions, or if anything comes in on questions, that's no problem. Our nomination election committee is generally made up of a small contingency. This year, we've got 3 individuals, including myself. We have Tim Pennington, who's covering all of South Florida, and he's an excellent young man, got several years experience in the SCV. He's in Camp 2181 down with Leon Arthur on the south end. So anything that we do or have to send out or send notices, our main contact for South Florida is Tim Pennington. I'll be glad to share his phone number if that's, if that'll help. Now, the other person involved in our 3 committee setup is covering North Florida. And that's a pretty big job in itself. And this gentleman is Frank Kello. And of course, he's in Camp 1209, which I know anything involving 1209 is going to be done precise and full to the extent. So we've got Tim Pennington covering the South, Frank Kello covering the North. As far as contact information and mail outs, emails, texts, whatever, and I'll be covering Central Florida. And what the nomination election committee does simply is this. The way the agenda is set up and the rank and file with the state of Florida, if you or anybody wants to run for any state office in our SCV for the state of Florida, it's very simple. We just ask that you send some short write-up, few sentences, maybe a paragraph, whatever you want, signifying what you want to run for and indicate maybe some background. Maybe you've been a commander over the last several years. Maybe you've been involved in other activities in the SCV that you can learn from and expand your horizons. So the main thing that we do in one simplified version is to communicate. Sean, I have found over the years that I've been in the SCV, of course, communication in the old school that you're not familiar with because you're too young, and that's a compliment, is simply the fact everybody would use the phone. Get your phone book out and you look up the number and dial it. Okay. Our world today, of course, as you know, with this podcast, which you brought to us as great as it's set up right here. We have text, of course, you have emails, and we'll go to any method to communicate and to get word out. Now, one thing we put in place, Tim and Frank Kello and myself, one thing we put in place, learning from past years' experience of others, there's not any form that you're required to fill out. There's not a certified form listing or whatever. The simple fact is, Sean, according to the state, Florida itself, I know you probably can't see this,
right?
But this is an appointed set up staff from our computer, and it lists the state function, state jobs. Mm-hmm. Now that could be, I don't care, it doesn't matter, public affairs, judge advocate, graves, or webmaster, genealogist, newsletter editor, could be anything. But if anybody wants or thinks they would like to try out to run for these jobs or one of these state listings, and this including the brigade commander, is from brigade commander, rank and file, higher. So if you're a camp commander or a lieutenant camp commander, you're in a safe zone because everything is internal locally. But once we get into the state edition of officers, then that's when we'll ask that you fill out some little write-up, email it to us, text to us, mail it to us by land mail. I don't care. We'll even talk to you over the phone. That's great. We love it. Whatever communication fits you, we're here for that. And we want all of our people involved. It's all about voting, and it's all about taking part. Now, you know yourself, Sean, and I think it's fair to say there's a lot of duties that we take on under certain categories, whether it's a brigade commander or one of the hired other listing jobs. There's certain duties that we perform, and we perform up to, the standard that's required. And that's really the only reason that we ask that if you want to apply for one of these jobs, put your name on the list so we can bring it before everybody at the June meeting in Trenton, send a little write-up, and it can be a short paragraph, couple of sentences, whatever you feel will help, to bring the votes to you. Now, once we gather our whole list by the June Trenton meeting,
Mhm.
then that list, we comb through it to see, in other words, if we have one position, and let's just say for the sake of argument, there's 10 applications or 10 people want that job.
Yeah.
Well, that requires you got to look into this thing in some depth. And that's where the committee comes in to help define the best qualified individual, the all around working person that, is fit for the job. And these nominations are then forwarded to our state commander and his state adjutant, Rick Roberts. And from our group and from getting with them, it's narrowed down to this and this and that and that. And then we have the vote in Trenton.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. We've got 5 state lieutenant commanders, from the first lieutenant, second lieutenant, third, fourth, fifth, and they canvass all the state from north to south. The reason it's set up to where we send out direct communiques to the brigade commanders is because under the brigade commanders, which are 16 covering the canvas in the Florida, we found that it's a lot simpler and easier to go through 16 brigade commanders, and those 16 in turn forward it down to their camp commanders that's under their domain. And I know they attend different camp meetings and different monthly setups, so word can get out. You're welcome to email me, or call Tim, or email Frank. It doesn't matter. Our job is communication. That's what we want. Matter of fact, if we don't hear from you, we're going to soon be coming around to contacting you. So there's not an escape hatch on this thing. We want everybody involved. It's something about voting. That's what our republic is made of, voting. And that's how we get our leaders. Feel free to give me any questions, Sean, that may come to mind.
I do want to say we have our Army of Tennessee councilman in the chat, Carl Jones. Welcome, sir.
Good.
I know one question I was asked last night while visiting another camp is there a form or a way that brigade commanders need other than calling you or emailing you, is there a form that brigade commanders that we currently have to fill out to let you know that we are running?
Very good question, Sean. And the simple answer is no, there's not a form that if you're already holding that office that you probably want to fill out or you don't need to. And the simple fact is, with a person holding a specific office of the state level in the Florida division, whether it's been 1 year, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, your work and your responsibilities have already been noticed. And therefore, it's not like you're the new person coming on for a job interview because you've already earned it. We know what you've done and how you've done it. We know how you communicate with people and relate and help to solve problems, or maybe you can point them in the best direction, even if you don't have the answer.
Right.
So if you're in a state level position, brigade commander, like you mentioned, no, it's not required or not necessarily needed unless you just want to throw it in.
Now, as far as the voting and all that, that's just for brigade commander, lieutenant commander, and division commander, right? Because the division commander can appoint his own staff.
Yes. So we're here 24/7. And one of our setups that we started it toward the end of January, Sean, is our format is to issue notices twice a month minimum. Now, the first notice will go out early in the month, like between the first day and the say the sixth day. And the reason is if you're one of the camps that meets on the first Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, we're hoping to get in touch with that brigade commander, get word to your camp that early on.
Right.
But on the other hand, if you're one of the camps that meet in the third Tuesday or fourth Tuesday, excuse me, which is fine. But if you meet later on that month, the second notice that we send out will be from the 15th to the 20th. And that should take care of catching you, contacting you for the later meeting of the month. So
Right.
that's what we're doing. Now, as we get closer to June, I'm saying specifically April and May, we'll be sending out probably more notices just to make sure nobody is left out or no person. The last thing I want to hear, like at the Trenton meeting in June, is somebody to come up and say, well, I would have considered that, but I didn't know about it in time.
Right.
So hey, we're going to eliminate that. I mean, our job is to get the word out, to forward it. And I know our brigade commanders, there's not a weak one there. They're all solid, and they know that coming to them, that it's their job and duty to shift it right out to the camp, ship it straight, and nobody's left out.
Right.
That's a good question.
Well, I do want to give a shout out, Jerry. We have our commander in chief in the chat, Jason Boshears. Welcome,
Oh,
sir. We're big time now.
well, welcome, Commander. It's a real honor and a pleasure. I know we got together, you and I and a few others, at the Nathan Bedford Forrest reinterment in 21. And my memories of that will be with me for life.
Oh
Good.
yeah,
Yes.
that was a great event. I enjoyed it
Amen.
myself.
That was a
Uh,
highlight for me.
uh, does anybody, Jerry's? I know some of you just joined the chat, but Jerry Peacock is heading up the Florida Division Nomination Committee. Does anybody have questions? Feel free to ask. You know me well enough. You know Jerry. If you don't know Jerry, why not? I mean, we're both not shy.
But I want you to know, Sean, again, until a
Yeah.
question comes up, I want everybody to know that working with Tim Pendleton and working with Frank Kello, I mean, these gentlemen are just exceptional.
Hmm.
They stay with it. Um, they have the best mannerisms. They know what they're doing, and they know the importance of what we want to do.
Yep.
So I'm proud to be with them, as far as I'm
Yep.
concerned.
That's good. I'm glad both of them stepped up to the plate to help you out.
Well, and I also want to mention, not go out of bounds, Sean, if I
Yeah.
may. We got word from our commander, Calvin Hart, that he has issued a notice signifying that he is running
Right.
again for the new term as of June in Trenton. So we want to make sure we get the word out on that now.
Well, yeah. Well, I've helped out with that because before he posted that on the division page, he said it right here before anybody knew that he would hit
Yes.
him
Yes.
and his staff are in for the long haul.
Well, and I'm glad you said that because, it's always, I mean, it happens invariably. I guess things can't be helped perfectly, but there's always, down the road a camp that either didn't meet or had an offbeat meeting and they didn't mention it. So,
Yeah,
everybody, they get to Trenton and then they say, oh, yeah, okay, I'm glad I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we can vote. That's great. And that's what we want,
exactly.
is to make sure they're tuned in with it.
Now, keep in mind, I know we might have some new people to the SCV. Remember,
Yeah.
with our elections, only camp commanders and adjutants can go up. So make sure you talk about it at the camp level, because that's what the camp commander, your camp leadership's supposed to do. Bring this up to the camp so you guys can discuss about it. So when we get to
Yes.
Trenton, they're speaking for you.
Right. Now, Sean, if I may take a
Yeah.
second, um, Tim Pennington, would you be so kind as to let me go ahead and hand out his phone number to our members and our
Uh,
viewers?
I would hold off on that, Jerry,
Okay.
because I don't want his number or your phone number or Frank Gello's phone number to get
Okay.
in the wrong
No,
hand.
no, no. I fully understand. I'm with you.
Mhm.
Um,
Just like if somebody asked me for Jason Boshear's number, I would call him first before I
oh,
would give it
yes,
out.
definitely. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Um,
That just, yeah, I hate to say it, this
no,
day
no,
and
no.
this with this day and age, you know what I mean?
Well, we know the world we're in, and we have to be on our vigilance. That's all we can do.
Yep.
But Sean, remember that we've contacted and directly multiple times all 16 brigade commanders.
Yes, sir.
And
I've got the emails.
yeah, and all have responded. I mean,
Mhm.
it works, and we're going to keep at it. Um, I'll tell you what would be music to my ears, not to be too far out of line, but if
Yeah,
a if a brigade commander come up to me at Trenton and they said, "Hey, boy, you flooded me with emails, and I didn't know what to do with them," I said, "Well, I hope you read them first, but I'm glad to hear that you can never communicate too much." And
correct.
what I mean by that is keeping everybody on the same page, especially the brigade commanders, because they are our key instrument between our committee, the nominees election committee, and our members, our camps. So everything's worked smoothly thanks to Rick Roberts, Mike Herring, Bob Foley. Uh, they've given me a lot of guidance and a lot of input,
Oh
and
yeah,
I've been thrilled just to be with them and hear this, because it's a learning experience for me. Even though I've
yeah,
been in the SCV quite a while, I love doing new things and trying to make things better. That's what we're here for.
exactly. That's the main purpose of the show is to get the communication out to our division members
Yes.
and our leadership, from our division commander to our councilman to our army commander, all the way up to our lieutenant CIC and our commander in chief. Woohoo!
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Because if we wasn't getting the information out, they wouldn't be in the chat.
I hear you. I hear you. You're doing good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everything's fine. Um,
So other than that, other than heading up that committee, Jerry, what have you been up to lately?
well, I do a lot of, maybe our members not aware of it, and I mean it in the right way, but I do a lot of drumming.
Yes, you do.
And so I've done a lot of period drumming. And in North Carolina, I was a regimental drummer, which I say that proudly. I don't mean it any other awkward way, but it's been the best part of my life. I love the SCV. I love history. I love the South. And of course, I'm a Tar Heel, but hey, I can't help where I was born, and it's good. I love it.
Hey,
Uh,
don't feel bad. A lot of people, and I know people in the chat, call me a swamp person because
okay.
I'm at the further south, over here by the Everglades.
I hear. Yeah. That's a pretty good far south too, really.
I know. That's why I said, yeah, I'm willing to come to any camp meeting in the state of Florida. Just give me some time.
Yes, yes. Um, if I may say, between you and I and our members, I'm proud to say that on many camps, if not a majority that I'm aware of, we have significant UDC participation, backup, and support. And it's one of those things I'm pleased as ever. Believe me, there's a lot of things that the ladies can put in place and do that, us men, we don't really quite have that knack or that touch.
Right.
But I'm thankful that they're with us. As far as I'm concerned, we're like brother and sister in this world.
Right.
I mean, we're different categories and different setups, but at the same time, we believe in the same thing. So that's all that counts in my book.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
because we have a strong following. Behind every good man, there's a good woman.
amen.
UDC or OCR.
OCR, exactly. OCR is perfect, guys.
Yeah.
If I may say, I'm sure she wouldn't mind me revealing this. It's common knowledge, but Lady Judy Rainey here in Ocala just
Mhm.
helped to put in place an OCR for SCV Camp 1865 with Commander Bob Highball. And
Cool.
yeah, they did it a few weeks ago at our Lee Jackson in Ocala, and Bob Highball and the Ocala camp. I mean, they had a first class Lee Jackson. It was the first one they've ever had because
Oh, okay.
they're a fairly new camp, and the lady Judy Rainey came in from Ocala with the UDC. She helped to install the OCR chapter there that's supporting and again backup with the SCV camp.
Right.
And I'm thankful for every one of them. I really am.
And hopefully for next year, I can get a flyer and promote it so you can get more people.
Well, thank you. The only thing is, what we had this year was a packed house. I mean,
Wow.
Bob Highball and the whole staff, you might say, of Camp 1865 really pitched in, and they really made a complete 100% pure successful Lee Jackson. The first
Mhm.
one they did, and it's almost like it's miraculous.
Wow. That's good to
Yes.
know.
Yes, sir. Daryl Rattery, our other state lieutenant commander, was there. We're under his domain.
Yeah.
So, matter of fact, he came, not to rattle on, but Daryl came to our Lee Jackson with my camp, 1786, here
Yeah.
at Oxford and the villages. And then that night, he went back into Ocala for the Bob Highball 1865 Lee Jackson. So
Mhm.
so Daryl Rattery had a busy trip and did a stupendous job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Daryl's on fire.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, all of our lieutenant commanders are doing a great job, especially on communication.
Well, I think with our mechanism that's in place today, Sean, communication is so much more direct. It's so much more certainty.
Yeah.
I mean, you still, you miss a few phone calls or emails. People don't look at them, and I think that's probably the only complaint I've had with some of our SCV is not checking the emails enough. There's too much, few days or several days of lag time, and
Right.
that's a little breakdown. But we're working on it. It's like a habit. It's like a habit of setting your alarm clock to get up in the morning or whatever. So, but these are good people, good camp commanders that we have, and I'm thrilled to have each and every one of them working with us.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that, Mr. Boshears. I mean, Commander Boshears. Woohoo! Been a long day.
Especially since you started at 8 a.m.
I don't even know how I did that.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that.
No, that's all
But,
right. I mean, I'm glad people like Roy Hudson, Linda Hudson, and various others pointed that out to me. I'm like, what do you mean? And I go back to look around Florida's Facebook page, and I'm like, oh boy, I'm a knucklehead.
look, I've done a lot worse. It's one of those things. I'm the world's worst at emailing, and I'll just tell our folks, look, if you get one of my emails and it's a little wordy or it's the word didn't quite fit together in a sentence, okay,
Right.
just keep reading, it'll get better, you know.
Jerry, I think you're on the speaker bureau list.
Yeah, I think I did get on that a
Okay,
while back. Yeah.
yeah, what type of topics do you talk about if somebody's looking for a guest speaker?
Sean, I've got several topics I speak on. Um, I mean, it's a variety, so it's not one train thinking. Um, naturally, I speak on a few battles that are I consider ultra important. I speak on. I've got one program I give involving the initial first welfare system that was put in place in the United States, uh, the very beginning, and it was due to the war between the states. And if you look at the welfare system today, how it's grown and expanded and takes in everything, um, it covers that. I know it sounds modernistic, but I keep it back in the era, that we're specifically dealing with the war between the states,
Yeah,
because that's how it originated. That's how it was put in place. And from there, it grew and grew and grew just beyond bounds. Now, the
cool.
sad thing I will tell you is that on the first original welfare system, of course, it did involve our, the after the war, the blacks that lived in Washington D.C., and it takes off from there. It actually went, but the bank of the Freedmen's Bureau went from 1865 on. It actually went broke in 1873, and it was multi millions of dollars lost that nobody knows where it went or what happened. But I speak on a variety of subjects. As you heard earlier, I'm a percussionist, and I've studied drumming all my life, and I've learned a few techniques, musically, reading music, whatever, playing whatever syncopation notes. But I also give like a drum instruction you might have at camp, if people want to hear that.
Yeah.
It deals specifically with drumming, marching, cadences, rhythms, sticking ability. So I cover that in depth.
Do you also talk about uh dr- the drummer boy? Different
Yes,
ones for
yes.
different units.
Amen. And they had to learn certain calls, and I teach our audience about what instructions they were given, how they practice, and their difference in their sticks then compared to what we have today. They were magically different. And also, people do not realize that all musicians, North and South, uh, of course, before the battle, they were the musicians lifting the spirits of the army. That's what
Yeah,
General Robert E. Lee said. The music is what makes the army and gives them, vitality, gives them strength and spirit. But when the battle started, imagine all of these drummer boys, which were mostly young and not actually in battle because they weren't allowed to be, but they were switched to the medical corps, which in turn they became stretcher bearers. They crawl out in the battlefield, bullets whizzing everywhere. And that's the reason a lot of the drummer boys were killed, incidentally, just trying to do the job to get the wounded soldiers, put them in the stretchers, slide them back on the ground till they could get safe to lift up, get them back behind the lines to the medical facility. So that's a little characteristic a lot of people do not realize.
yeah. Staying on the same subject. So a lot of the stuff you see, Hollywood or reenactments where the drummer boy was there with the troops uh, in battle wasn't accurate then.
No, matter of fact, most, if not all, I would say the majority, I know most, Union and South, they required a certain age. Of course, the boys, if they look more mature, adult-like, they could probably tell a fib and get in the line about get to carry the musket.
Okay.
But they would not ordinarily let them in. They realized they were still, adolescent boys, and
Yeah.
they wanted to give them a chance to get to manhood like everybody else. So the rule was it was held in place pretty good, pretty stout.
Okay. That's why I was wondering because of, you know, being involved with reenacting since I was 12 and Hollywood and that, if that was accurate for a drummer boy to be there in line with the soldiers.
Yeah. They would march out of the wood line like we did at Gettysburg.
Yeah.
When I say march out of the wood line, get the troops lined up, start formations, and be ready to plow forward. And they might take off a few steps while they're still close to our lines.
Yeah.
But once they got out far, they dropped back and let the troops march on through. They kept playing.
Okay.
Remember, a cannonball could come over the troops and hit anywhere. So
Right.
there was a great many casualties and even deaths of musicians, especially drummers.
Mm-hmm.
They used them specifically, switched them over to the medical corps.
Okay.
But still, when you're crawling on your hands and knees and bullets are whizzing over you and you don't have a rifle, that's a pretty hairy job.
Correct. Because, with studying the history, you have flag bearers, you have
Yes.
drummers, brass bands, so to speak. If they actually, that was something I was wondering if they actually went into battle. I know flag bearers did, but
Flag bearers were the number one target.
Exactly.
Once the enemy would see the flag bearers, everybody shot at that. Mm-hmm. It's just like at Gettysburg, the 26th North Carolina Regiment, especially the first day forward when they started marching in, and that was the initial beginning of the Gettysburg battle. We lost 14 color bearers.
Wow.
Yes. And one was our colonel, the youngest colonel in the Confederacy. Yes. Of the 26th North Carolina Regiment. Yes, sir.
Wow.
So if you were on a color bearer, and the thing is, every time the colors come up and needed, a color bearer, everybody raised their hand and volunteered, knowing it was all pretty much certain death.
Yeah.
So just our folks need to keep that in mind. That's what our men suffered and tried to survive through. The ones that survived, they were blessed. Amen.
Mm-hmm. That's good to know. Thank you. Having a little discussion on music.
Well, that's one of my topics. Tell anybody to give me a call or whatever. I'll work my schedule. Since I'm reeling off a little, Sean, may I say that March the 26th, next month, about a month from now, March the 26th, on the fourth Tuesday, I'm meeting with Commander Bobby Vincent, who, with his camp over toward St. Petersburg, I'm going to give a program over there.
Yeah, Bobby was telling me about that. So I'm glad you're coming close. I do have a question from Ronnie Nichols for you.
Yes.
Are you able to see the question?
No. Wait a minute. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay. Oh, good question, Ronnie. Good question. The simple answer on the color bearer or the color bearers, meaning the riflemen protecting the colors as they marched across the field. All the troops were trained to follow and be aligned or to aim for the colors. So if the color guard goes off one way, the troops are going to go off that way. And from the start of the battle on, you followed the colors. And they were usually centered up between brigade, regiment, on down. But you followed the colors. And once the enemy shot the colors and killed them, there'd be a pause or a hesitation because it actually caused confusion. because until somebody picked up those colors and started the march alignment that they were supposed to be on, there would be hesitation and holdback. And that hesitation, holdback for the enemy, the blue bellies aiming right down at us, it was a free shot. Yes. Good question. Thank you, sir.
We do have a question and a compliment from our AOT councilman, Carl Jones.
Oh, may I say yes? Oh, Carl, where is that, please, sir? What location is that to be held?
The AOT workshop will be held at Elm Springs this year.
Do you have a date or a time frame?
Jerry, I could get you the flyer.
If you'll be kind enough, I'll be glad to check that out and see what the schedule allows me to do. Yes.
Oh, our commander in chief just answered that for you.
Oh, okay. Okay, good deal. Yes. May the 4th. Ooh.
Yep.
We're
May 4th at Elm Springs.
Yes. I'm it's usually one time or so out of the year that our family takes off. We'll be at Hilton Head. I'm sorry. Other than that, I'd love to do that. I mean, that would fit me to a T. But I apologize. We will be at Hilton Head.
Carl, just to let you know, I know you've been following me on Facebook, so I won't be there this year, but I am looking forward to the next one.
Sean, if you would relay to Carl, I'll be glad to come at any other setup or event that he feels, it'd fit in. I'd be glad to. Just let me know. And you're welcome to pass along my email or phone number. That'll be good.
Yeah, our commander in chief just said that we are having a I'm gonna butcher it. I know it.
A pilgrimage and homecoming that day.
Yeah, that day at the Forest Equestrian,
yes.
Save the Robert E. Lee statue.
Yes.
Ready. This came from Carl.
Okay. Yes, sir. Let me see. I was really just complimenting you. Oh, thank you. Well, hey, I get paid so much like Sean does that we can't refuse, right? But please tell Carl to in the future, whatever his schedule, what comes up, let me know. I'll try to make a plan. I'll get with him. That'll be fine. I'll be happy. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's coming from our commander in chief and our Army of Tennessee councilman that is running for AOT commander.
Well, many blessings to each, and all I can say is, as far as my life feels during the war between the states, that's when I feel like I lived. Yep. And I know that sounds a little bit corny, but that's just me.
Yep. Oh, Carl, either call me or text me. I need you to get you lined up to come on the show to help you out with your campaign.
Yes, sir. He'll be a good one. Yes. Thank you.
I've sat down and talked with Carl at Arkansas. I really enjoyed him.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, anybody that's running for a division office,
yes,
AOT office, and national office, feel free to message me. I would love to get you on the show. So the Florida division members, and I do get members from Tennessee and other divisions that do watch the show. Try to help you out. Okay. I'll let you know, Carl. Ready. Does anybody have any questions for myself or Jerry? Feel free to ask. We're not shy.
Please.
The only thing we don't do is kiss on the first date.
There's a lot of things I don't do on the first date. I mean,
Well, this is a family show, and we
okay,
won't talk about those.
I'm with you. But let's reiterate real quick,
Yeah, go
Sean,
ahead.
if we may. Our nominations election committee is we're in force right now. We're together. Our minds are on the same page, and it's all about communicating to our brigade commanders, who in turn go to the field and get with their different camps and get everything together with their camps and issue what we send out. And if anybody has any questions, anytime, I don't care. Call me day or night, email me, text, I don't care.
Jerry, Roy Hudson said this. He'll get with you after the Stephen Ely.
Yes. Okay, that'd be great. I'll look forward to that.
All right. During the forest reinterment, I was on the balcony of historical Elm Springs about 30 minutes before the burial, and I looked down, and Mr. Jerry Peacock and others
Yes.
were playing.
Well, I want you to know that that picture, of course, the important thing is we're carrying our heroes, to their final place, and with this beautiful mansion and the setting. I was asked, I won't say by whom, but I was asked to march with behind the casket with the soldiers, following the caskets up the circle there, and where they were unloaded to be taken into the mansion. And that was one of the highlights.
Oh, so, sorry. I should have muted myself. I got a message.
Oh, good. That's good.
Ready. I just got a PM for somebody that's watching on YouTube. Are there deadlines for submission?
No. And the point we want to make is that it's going to be open continually. So don't think that a week before, 2 weeks before the meeting in a state meeting in Trenton, don't think that, it's too late. I fell through the crack. No, it's an open date. And I'll go ahead and add too, I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with it, but at the meeting itself, that very morning, there will be still open that you can be nominated or whatever from the floor.
Yeah.
So that happens all the time. And, we don't want to close it off and cut off anybody or lose anybody.
Correct.
So
thank you, Delyn, for that question. I know you're watching on YouTube and you private messaged me.
yeah.
Alrighty. Do we have any more questions? You can either put them in the chat or PM me either or. We are not shy.
No, please. I love a question. I don't care. It challenges me. I love it.
Thank you, Ronnie, for bringing that up. I remember everyone. We have a battle of Leslie. Kirby Smith, 1209, will have a
Yes.
huge setup this weekend. I knew it was this weekend.
Yes.
I had a feeling, but I wasn't 100%
Yes.
sure. Thanks, Ronnie.
Yes. And
And I
Sean,
hope. Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say best wishes to Camp 1209 and other camps that will be there with their displays.
Amen. And Sean, I'll be there. I cannot get there before Saturday morning, but I'll be there Saturday.
Cool.
And Saturday night. Yeah.
Yeah. This year I won't make it to that to that event due to everything that's going on in real life.
I understand.
So For me, other than going in and helping out camps and all that, the biggest thing for me, it will be division reunion
Yes.
and having a hell of a time in Charleston with everybody
Yes.
in the chat.
Amen.
I'm definitely looking for that and a little vacation. So, that's right, Linda. It's always you're correct, Linda. I keep forgetting that it's always the weekend after Valentine's.
I did.
So, if you guys don't have anything to do on the 24th of February, come and hang out with me at the Lieutenant Bogus camp down in Everglades City. We'll be meeting at 9 a.m. at City Hall for Rumble in the Glades.
Right.
It's a good time. We're going to have our recruitment booth up. Car show, blessing of the bikes. If you're a gearhead, it is 100% for you. It is also supporting the local church down there that's putting on the event. Oh, I just saw this. This is coming from our commander-in-chief. The task of election officers is very important, and having someone dedicated to ensure everyone has opportunity. Thank you, Commander.
Yes. Thank him graciously.
Alrighty. With that being said, we've been going at this for an hour. You've been hearing me rambling and Jerry rambling.
Yeah, but I have fun at it too.
Hey, we both do. We both do.
Well, last word. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And hopefully we got the information out to everybody that is very important with upcoming this year.
Yes.
I had it set up. Okay, this year at our division reunion in Trenton. Remember, like our division commander's slogan is "Division Strong."
Amen.
And Division United. And if we're not united, just like the old saying goes, united we stand, divided we fall.
Yes.
So with that being, yeah, go ahead, Jerry.
I'm sorry, Sean. Be sure to remind our folks, our members, that Tim Pennington in Southern Florida and Frank Kello in Northern Florida and myself, the Nominations Election Committee, without them, I couldn't do this. And we're ready for any notice, email. We'll send it out, text, whatever. And any questions, please feel free to ask.
Yep. We're not shy. If I was shy, I wouldn't be doing this.
Me and you both, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Commander. Thank you for your compliments and kind words. I don't know if you saw that, Jerry. It was addressed to me and you.
Oh, okay. Thank him for me, please.
He heard you.
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right. With that being said, stay Southern, stay out of trouble, and we're going to end on one of the faces of the SCV video.
Amen. Many blessings, Sean, to all.
And Jerry, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us tonight.
Love to come back anytime.
And you're more welcome to, Jerry. Just let me know when, and so I can schedule you in.
Yes, sir. Many thanks.
When my mother was in college, she danced with Confederate veterans. To me, it wasn't that far away. You know, my father knew this. My mother knew this. Almost 50 years ago, I joined the Sons of Confederate Veterans. In those days, we weren't concerned about saving monuments or any of those things. That wasn't necessary. In fact, none of us had any remote idea that it would ever come up. We can't just sit there and react. We have to be proactive. Or, as Robert E. Lee said, the best way to disrupt your enemy's plans is to strike first. Everyone should do all in his power to collect and disseminate the truth, in the hope that it may find a place in history and descend to posterity. History is not the relation of campaigns and battles and generals or other individuals, but that which shows the principles for which the South contended and which justified her struggle for those principles. If you're looking for some place to be where you think you're going to accomplish something to save our history, go to the Sons of Confederate Veterans. I'm Thomas Lee Jesse. I'm a descendant of Private Daughtery Gilmer, a Confederate veteran.
A few days